Welcome to the No Bull Political Arena with your hosts, Sophia Nelson, Bill O'Reilly, Brian Mistro, and TJ McCormick. It's real voices, raw politics, and no bullshit. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Arena. It's Brian Mistro. I'm here with my buddy Bill O'Reilly, and of course Laura Coombe, who's becoming a regular on our program. Thanks, Lauren, for joining us, and appreciate your input and all you're doing, my friend. So, yeah, welcome everyone. So, we finally got to the point, Bill. We started talking about this in February, and all of us were trying to figure out, okay, where are we going to fit in with the Iran war? How is that going to fit? So we're there now. And I haven't talked to you about what your thoughts are, because I want to see yours and Lauren's face and your thoughts as I share what is now being released. Now, I do want to be clear. The actual release of exactly what it is, we don't know all of the details yet. Some of them we do, but it still hasn't been released. Donald Trump and JD Vance both signed it. I don't understand why they both had to sign it, but they both signed it on Sunday, and I guess they're working out a formal
So that
celebration.
JD owns it too.
I bet it is. I bet it is. I'm putting you on the same bus with me, baby. Oh, all right. So let's have some fun. I'm gonna read through some of this. This is from Reuters, where they discuss some of the insides. I'll let you know if the stuff that I'm gonna read to everybody. I will let you know if it's been confirmed or if that's what the understanding is. So this is from Phil Stewart in Reuters. And Trump Vance signed the MOU, which is the Memorandum of Understanding. So did Iran parliamentary speaker. That's number one. Number two, the deal, and that's true. Donald Trump did say that was true. Number two, deal provides for an immediate opening of the Strait of Hormuz and lifting of U.S. blockade on Iran. That's true, but it hasn't happened yet. So, at least as of the last I checked a few hours ago, that has not happened. I would suspect that will happen. I don't see why it wouldn't. Number three, details of the agreement will be put out within the next 24 to 48 hours. Why? Number four, going to launch technical discussions later this week. Okay. Number five, relief of frozen funds, sanctions relief tied to performance. I'm going to pause right there. So there's two parts of this. There is a $300 billion fund to help rebuild Iran, I guess, from what we bombed. That is true. When I first read it, I thought that's absolute bullshit, but actually it's not. J.D. Vance went on the air on a CBS this morning and confirmed that's what it is. Now, he did mention that it is based upon performance. And he did mention that, it's not the United States writing a $300 billion check. It could be their neighbors, it could be private investment, but we're going to allow them to do that. The second part of it is a $24 billion release of funds that we've taken or that have been, what do you call that, Bill? Put under sanctioned, okay?
Yeah.
And so the way that works, and now this one is not 100%, but I've read it from enough outlets. I think it's probably pretty close. So Iran gets a $24 billion relief from sanctions, and half of it comes up front. And the other half is based upon how they, over the next 60 days, they've got 60 days to negotiate this, how they negotiate out and what kind of an actor they are on their nukes and so forth. There is no agreement on their nuclear stockpiles. Agreement is to complete, agreement is to contemplate reduction of military forces upon the agreement of a final deal. I don't even know what that means.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's so that's the big ones. The biggest ones that I've seen, Bill and Lauren, the 300 billion. and the 24 billion up front, or 12 billion up front, 20 the other 12 within the next 60 days. I want to put this in some comparisons with the JCPOA, and I think we need to do that because it was Trump that killed it. In the JCPOA, they got $50 billion in release of sanctions. Okay, and they got one.
Which is just important. It's their money, but that was
It's
frozen.
their money that was
Yeah,
frozen, and it was frozen in most of it for oil sales in South Korea.
yeah.
And it was also funneled through the UAE, I believe, controlled it with the United States and when in some of the release of it. So I don't think they even got all of that, but that's a different discussion. The United States also gave through the JCPOA, was it 1.2 or 1.7 billion dollars, basically in cash. And I don't remember the exact numbers. Kind of,
1.7.
yeah, was it 1.7? Yeah. So going off of memory with that. However, one of the important distinctions too was with the JCPOA, they had to immediately open up for full inspection of their nuclear facilities. So you may not like that in 20 years or 15 years it would run out. You may not like who was doing it or how much they could enrich it to, but it was an enforcement mechanism, and our allies were on board. So it appears, and we'll talk about this later, and I've got some slides for this, but it appears that Israel was caught completely blindsided by this. They didn't even know this was being negotiated. And Donald Trump and Netanyahu are not on great terms right now. So there it is. We've come all these months, and we haven't a framework of an agreement, kind of it's one of these little pinky promise, little wink, wink, back and forth. What do you think, Bill? I got to start with you. What do you think?
I think the only party that's happy right now is Iran, and that tells you everything you need to know.
Yep.
We got our clocks clean because I think the administration panicked about midterms, and they panicked about pressure at home, and they panicked about the Gulf, all those things, and they're giving Iran new hope, new life, new purpose, greater stature in the region. The comeback kid story, the resilience, all those things. It I don't you know I argued with you originally. I think you were right. It ended up being not well. I mean, I assumed it wasn't going to be beautifully well done because
No.
Trump seems
Yeah.
to rush into things, but we had them on the carpet and
We
we let
did.
them up, and now we're letting them up and giving them things, and the Israelis are not happy, and the Israelis got caught. I mean, I know America is our interest, not Israel, but Israel is our ally,
Yeah.
and the Israelis got screwed here.
They did.
I mean, part of the Iranian terms are that is that Israel stopped fighting Hezbollah in Lebanon. That ain't
Yeah.
happening.
No. And
There's no way that's not happening.
no, it's
You
not
know,
happening because they're sitting there shooting their damn mortars and stuff over from Lebanon even today. Hezbollah is doing
yeah.
it from Lebanon even today. Okay.
I mean,
So
I'm happy we downgraded their military, and I've always said that. I think that's really important. We've set them back a decade or so,
yeah.
militarily. Nuclear, we've set them back x number of years. We don't really know yet. But besides that, this was a bust.
Yeah. It
This was
was.
we. I think we walk away looking embarrassed.
Yeah. I don't see how you see any kind of success story on this, and we'll talk about that more in a second. Lauren, how did it strike you when you read the terms of this deal?
It was shocking. I think it came out kind of last night, right? Like the
The
initial
initial,
part of
yep.
it. And I'm sorry, my watch really bad right now, but yeah, the initial. And so I was like, I'm gonna wait to comment on this because I don't know. But like you said, Brian, like when JD Vance did the interview, I was like, okay, I guess this is confirmed. He's answering questions about this, and I did not like his answers. I was totally shocked by them. So yeah, the JCPOA thing is really interesting to me because I don't understand. I was younger when that deal happened, right? 2015.
Hmm.
And
Us too.
so it was like
Yeah.
just eaten into my brain how horrible of a deal that was, even though I didn't really understand. Yeah. It was like, oh, this is so, the sunsets, the pallets of cash. How is this different? How is this different? And how are people who were anti JCPOA, how are they happy right now with this current situation? And it's kind of just, I feel like it's becoming a partisan thing. I mean, to me, I agree with Bill. I feel like we look weak. I don't think that this makes us look good at all. I don't even know how this happened. He's been saying we're gonna get a deal, we're gonna get a deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not the
So
deal we were looking for. I think Lauren froze maybe
yeah, I
for a
think
second.
she's
And
freezing up. She's
and just to give Lauren full credit, she just took her medical boards and moved
yes,
today
she
and
did.
is outside her new apartment on the porch doing the show. So
Thank you, Lauren. Thank you.
yeah,
Yes,
really real
and
dedication.
yes, that super is.
Blindside Netanyahu is pretty shocking. I think a lot of people are really upset about that.
Yeah.
And then the JCPOA too, 97% shipped out.
So I think we're
Yeah, you
losing.
guys ignore me. I'm just gonna listen.
I think we're losing you there a little bit, Lauren. We'll see if your internet picks up a little bit. I'm going to share another slide, and this is what what I was talking about earlier. And so I follow what I like to call the turd polishers pretty well on X, and these are the people that, in my opinion, no matter what Donald Trump does, they pick up the turd and they polish it up and make it look really nice. And this is another one. So Mark Tyson, I don't know if you know him, Bill, or not, but he said, quote, $300 billion to Iran under any circumstances is a disaster, like offered the Marshall Plan to rebuild Germany while the Nazis were still in power. Yeah, that's
I thought
exactly
that
what
was a
it
pretty
is.
I thought that was a pretty good statement. If the mullahs were gone and it was a new Iranian regime, I'd say throw everything into helping them rebuild.
Yeah,
Be the best possible friend they could ever have. But you're leaving in a diabolical administration, not just diabolical. They have a death wish for the West.
yeah,
I mean, they are absolutely fanatical, and it sounds, oh, you negotiate with them, they get softer. They're never softer. Their position is 100% one thing, and that is destroy Israel and destroy
yeah,
the West and convert everyone to their form of Islam in the
yeah,
world, on the
yeah,
planet. And if not, behead them, execute them, torture them, kill gay people, hang them, all those things, all those great illiberal things that the liberals are protesting in favor of now in New York and around the country. This is an evil regime. Like
it
I don't
is.
use that word ever. This is an evil regime, and we just let it go. We just propped it up. We're going to give it an infusion. It is
Yeah,
the Middle East was almost materially different 5 minutes ago, and now it looks like it's going to be fundamentally the same as it was when this started.
yeah. And interestingly enough, too, I did find somebody, however, and I'm going to show you the third slide here, somebody that was happy with it, that was not the United States or Iran. And you know who it was, Bill? It was Hezbollah. They issued a statement saying, we welcome the memorandum of understanding from fucking Hezbollah. It just kills me. Mark, so here's another one, and I again, I know I'm showing these slides of people, and you're saying, yeah, okay, we get it, nobody likes it. No, Mark Levin, Mark fucking Levin, said, quote, it's appalling, and this is that Netanyahu at a press conference today. He said, we still don't know what the agreement is. We still don't know what's in it. And then Mark Levin said just a few hours ago, he said, that's appalling. They fought beside us. Now we celebrate talks with the enemy, and the enemy knows more than our ally. That is shocking. And I've been in politics more or less full time since what, 2017. I didn't dabble in it before. I have never, ever, 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 ever once seen him say something negative about the Republican or about Donald Trump. Never once in my entire political life. That is a
Yeah,
new
and
one.
and I do think domestic politics has an enormous amount to do with this. It has most to do with this. I mean, I filled up. I've got a little car. I got an old Mini Cooper, and that took $75 to fill the other day. Usually it was 40
Yeah.
something. So it's like, to me, I'm willing to do that, but I'm able to do that. A lot of people aren't. And I think that the midterms are looming. I think the markets are jittery, up and down, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's there's been some warnings from different nations and people in the oil industry that the prices are going to shoot up much higher, or they would have
Yeah.
this summer. There were shortages going, the fertilizer issue. I think they
Aluminum
panicked. I mean, those are
and
those are
aluminum.
legitimate
Yeah.
things that you have to
Yeah.
consider, certainly. But when you're trying to take down a fundamental enemy, like a fundamentalist enemy too, like Iran, you have to pay the price for that.
So
To me, that price is worth it somehow. If you
Let
have to
me,
drop the gas tax, if
yeah.
you have to do whatever, use the strategic reserve, whatever it is, pump, drill more, whatever you got to do it to get rid of this like evil institution
a-
that's
And we were
in Persia right now.
we were right there. I mean, we had the aircraft
Right.
carriers, we had the military sitting there. We were right there. Now, I know I've been more hawkish on it than you have. First of all, I was completely against them doing it, not because I thought it was wrong, it's because it's Donald Trump doing it and he fucks everything up. Excuse my language again, but that's the best words I can use today with Donald Trump. Um, but when when we had them and the bombing wasn't working out, and I know I'm in such a small minority here, but at that point you bought it, you own it. Do what you've got to do, even if that means boots on the ground. Build a coalition to take them out. I realize it would end up being another Afghanistan. I realize the next several administrations would end up owning this, but then they're gone. I mean, there is no nuclear weapon at that point. You know,
You know,
um,
yeah, I wonder, Brian, what would George H.W. Bush have done? Would he have put together a coalition of
he
all
would
the
have.
Arab states and done troops on the ground from the Arab states? That would have been a pretty extraordinary thing. And you would want to get some Shia involved also. You could bring them from other nations and
Yeah,
from wherever. That would have been like a multi-nation um, a force would have really been preferable here.
yeah.
Oh,
So
but Lauren, I know that Lauren's having a little internet trouble. If you can hear us, Lauren, and you want to weigh in,
yeah, please
please
do,
weigh
Lauren,
in.
if you want to weigh
Thanks.
in. So if we hear, I'll make sure to pause. But you know, I do think that he would have. I think he would have consulted with them extensively beforehand. I think he would have built a coalition beforehand. I think he would have done more in protection of Israel and for sure been prepared for them to close the strait. I mean, shit, have we known that them closing the strait was their biggest trump card? No, no pun
Yeah,
intended, right?
yeah.
So I do. I think that it would have been handled differently. I think it would be bloody. I think it would be long. I think it would be expensive. I think a lot of people would die. But if Iran gets a nuke, a lot more people are going to die. So
Yeah.
let me throw out a scenario, and I'll get your take on this because this is
And I
immediately
want to throw one back at you as well. So yeah,
okay.
yep.
Well, go ahead and do that. Then I want to throw out the scenario because one thing I don't understand.
Yeah, I thought about this for a while, all inside my head. I haven't written anything on it or discussed it at all, but I have thought about what would have happened if we had put together a multinational coalition to go in there.
Hmm.
And then I began to think that as AI is accelerating and technology is ubiquitous, um, does it make sense to have a multinational force that says to any country trying to get new nuclear weapons, non-nuclear countries trying to go nuclear weaponry,
Yeah,
no? I mean, does it make sense? Because we could end up with 100 countries with nuclear weapons in the next 30 years. The technology is there. The
yeah,
uranium can be smuggled. I mean, it's AI. You can build those machines. We're going to have to figure out some way to stop the spread of nuclear weapons to a greater extent than we have now. I mean, North Korea has it, Pakistan, India. I mean, a bunch of countries have them, but it's still fairly limited. We would certainly don't want North Korea having them, but it's too late.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
wasn't too late with Iran, and hopefully they keep their word, which they won't.
No,
But going forward, we're going to have to figure out some way to stop like unstable nations from getting nuclear
the
weapons.
proliferation of, and you would think that that
And it
would be
shouldn't be
something.
all the US. It can't be all
No,
us.
no, I agree a million percent, Bill. And it should be nations, not just nations that have nukes. It should be the nations that don't have them. And as
Yeah,
you
great
said, if
point.
you could build up a coalition of countries that say that's just too dangerous. I mean, we could be talking into the world kind of stuff here.
Yeah,
It's worth it.
you pursue it, the entire world cuts you off. You
Yeah,
know,
and it
you're
doesn't
cut
even have to
off.
be our allies. It could be countries that aren't even allied with us, right? So I
Exactly.
agree with you. That's a great idea. So one thing that popped into my mind, and I'm going to go back to the deal. So they get $300 billion. So I want to make sure I get this correct. $300 billion to get invested to rebuild the bridges that we bombed and destroyed and all their stuff. And then they get $12 billion more or
I mean,
less up front.
why?
Yeah,
Why?
hold on, because that's it. Kind of backs up on what you were talking about just a second ago. They get more or less $12 billion in relief up front, and another $12 billion after 60 days, if they're a good actor and so forth. So, what would stop Iran from at day number 59? They've gotten part of that 300 billion. They're certainly not going to get all of it. I don't think they'll ever get all of it. And they've already got their 12 billion. What's to stop them from saying, you know what, Hezbollah, go do something to Israel that is going to force them to retaliate badly.
Of course,
They
they do
do
it all the
it,
time.
and then Israel hits them, and then the Houthis do the same thing, and then um, the Houthis. Oh, we have a couple of little issues here, but the Houthis do the same thing, and they effectively. Sorry, everybody, we're having some little issues here. The Houthis do the same thing, and they shut down their strait. So the Houthis have shut down their strait, and then on top of that, you've got the Iran that will say, okay, you know what? Israel broke its word. United States, you broke your word, and so we're going to go right back to where we were, and we're going to shut down the strait. What's to stop them from every 59 days or sooner backing out of the deal because they've already got the cash that they want, and then trying to renegotiate it?
Well, they now know that if they close the strait, we can't do anything about it other than close the strait too. And
Right.
that's a terrible lesson that they've brought from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's yeah.
Yeah, and apologize everybody about some of the video issues we're having here, but we'll get it fixed by next time. Let me go ahead and end on this, Bill. Where do you go from here? Where is the, how do you, what do we do from here to try to make this better? Do we try to really work with Israel and make sure that they've got even more weapons in place? What do we do to try to keep this from proliferating into a terrible, even more terrible situation?
I was gonna say yes with Israel, fully fund Israel, and don't get in the way if they're going to retaliate or do what they have to do. They're excellent. They have the best intelligence in the world. They have great operatives, a great air force. I mean, a lot of it is our technology. Don't get in the way. But then you've got to keep working on the relationship with the Saudis. Keep that strong. Try and improve the Turkish relationship, the Pakistani relationship. You've got to build those allegiances and strengthen them before Iran gets back on its feet fully.
Yeah,
And like you have to basically try and put that coalition together for the future.
yeah. Do you think there's any chance at all, Bill, that the Iranians can be trusted in any written agreements they
None.
put together?
Not whatsoever. It's like handing Michael Corleone a casino, and I'm going to go straight. We're going to do it straight. No matter what he says, no matter what the mafia says, they're always going to try and rob you. That's their they're the scorpion. It's nature. The scorpion
Right.
and the frog. That whole thing. The nature of the Iranians is catastrophic. The nature is to take over the world and to kill non-believers and to dominate, and then go up with the virgins.
Yeah. I was really curious about what you're going to say. We'll talk about this some more, certainly when we know exactly what the terms are that are coming out, and we'll break it down some more. Because I've also, and we may hit on this tomorrow, Bill. I also want to read some of the quotes from the far right and their suggestions that instead of building up and giving Israel more defensive weapons and more weapons to protect themselves, we shut them off completely. So, yes, I had that. I actually had that slide ready for today, but we'll push it to tomorrow, and when we're not having some of these video and audio issues. Thank you,
That
everybody,
sounds
for
like
joining.
it sounds like JD Vance's camp.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. Actually, it is. It
Yeah,
is. It's Joe Kent.
yeah, it sounds like
So,
him. Yeah.
thanks everybody for joining. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. If you've got some questions, leave a question. We'll read it out here. Give us a like if you like it. We will be going soon and broadcasting everywhere at the same time. Right now, though, if you would please follow us on YouTube, you'll get this. You'll get The Hinge of History, which is a completely apolitical show with Joe Carvin, where we talk about
It's a cool
AI and
show.
the effects. It is a good show. We're really picking up a lot of followers on that. And you'll also get Restoring the American Dream. So It's more of like a 60 minutes kind of deep dive into topics. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Thanks, Bill, and we'll work with Lauren, make sure she can get her stuff taken care of, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank you now.
Thank you, Brian. Good night, everybody.